Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is the show where we talk about streaming technology. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by a full squad. It's been a while.
Yes.
First off, we've got Matthew Ross.
Hello.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hello, everyone.
And returning from his sabbatical, Michael Aston.
You
Hello, everybody.
Although I think he's frozen.
He's
again.
frozen again. But
Obviously frozen again. Yeah, I'm fighting the endless battle of trying to figure out what's wrong with my PC. I believe that this was because Windows decided to do a malware check right as I started Skype.
Well, Skype could be considered to be malware in certain circles.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see if I can figure out a way to get this back going, but otherwise...
I just leave it. We've got your voice
You have an
good
excellent
enough.
pose. You have this excellent pose. It's
You
all
get that Artie Johnson very interesting pose, right?
We'll just leave it there and try not to tempt fate too much. But yeah, hey guys, great to have everybody back.
Yes, indeed.
I am feeling like crap, but we are going to do this anyway because that is our job.
What do you
Or at
mean
least
you're
that's
not
my
feeling
job.
crap?
I've been sick since Thursday, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's almost a week.
So what? Since you're better? Oh, since you've been out sick.
I've been getting
And
sick.
you're in Blizzard City right now, right?
Yeah.
How much? I have not paid any attention to the newest storm, and it's like spring in the middle of April, and you're getting how much snow?
I don't even know. There was like this much when I got home.
Oh, okay.
But it had been raining, so then you've got the ice underneath,
slush,
and
and
the slush,
Ugh.
and nothing's being cleared because they even though it snows through April every year, we get to the end of March and they go, "Oh, winter's over. Put everything away." And then we get like 3 blizzards, and they go, "Huh, sorry, everything's put away." But
is it really that hard to pull them back out? Come on, guys.
well, I mean, considering they probably laid off all the workers, have to negotiate with the unions to get them back.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just ridiculous, but such is life in the frozen tundra.
Why doesn't everybody drive around with a plow on the front of their car?
Because it would kill each other. There would be decapitated people everywhere.
Kill each other.
Okay, that makes more sense. I appreciate that.
Imagine Mad Max in the snow.
Why is the snow bloody everywhere?
Exactly.
I don't know why there's blood in the snow.
When the roads are dry, these people can't manage to stay in their lanes or maintain speed. Anyway, it's like bumper cars, so put a plow on everybody's vehicle. And
It
could be entertaining.
Or a guy with a guitar with a flamethrower.
As like a reality show. I mean, it could be very entertaining, but I don't want to drive in it. But on that note, why don't we look at what do we got to talk about this week?
So this week we got a story from Roku. They've announced that they've started using a new version of their OS, version 9.1. A couple new changes in there that are interesting, but the one we're highlighting here is a new authentication method that's being used across all their apps that's going to basically make it so you can sign in once with a Roku, and onto one of the apps, and then you will be able to use that same authentication next time you sign into any other Roku with your account, basically making it so you will have a single sign-on.
This is good in the fact that this is something they've been doing for a while, but it was up to the app maker to participate. So, for example, in my Hulu account or my Roku account, I have attached it to my Hulu account. So anytime I add a new Roku, it just automatically signs me in, downloads it. Now the thing about this is that they are now making it mandatory. It's a mandate that everybody use this. So you couldn't use it with Netflix before. You couldn't use it with PlayStation View. But everybody, if they want to be on Roku, they have to participate. And that's a good thing for users.
Yeah.
Because you sign in once and then you're good to go.
I've had several times where I have 3 Rokus, 2 or 3, I can't remember. Yeah, I think I have 3, because I don't have one set up all the time. But I've had to come into it and I've turned it on and I'm like, oh man, I have to re-sign into all these things again. And it would be so nice to be able to do this. I appreciate this configuration.
The thing to note is that it's not mandatory that you as a user use it. You can, if you prefer to. They do specify that they can still leave the login through the app as an option. So then it becomes a choice, but the mandate is that the automatic authentication or the account association is mandatory, that it be baked into their app. So that leaves the choice up to the user, and that is the way it should always be.
Yeah.
So
that's excellent.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So, and it does say that they do specify that the mandate is for large channels. So, I mean, so it's not right now, it's not a mandate to like let's say you're making your own app and you don't have the resources to implement something like this, you don't understand. You don't have to do it right now, but
you're not allowed here.
It'll be the HBOs and the Showtimes and the Netflix, and
we don't accept your kind of registration.
Amazon.
Get out of here.
I'm curious to see how Amazon reacts.
Yes.
Well,
the Amazon, I don't know. Do they have any kind of single sign-on on their system, or is it all everything's individualized?
As far as I know, it's just log in through the app when you launch it. So. Yeah, good.
Very cool. Netflix has been doing some changes to their configuration on their Apple devices. Apple's decided that they need to. Apple has introduced a new feature called AirPlay 2. AirPlay 2 includes the ability for it to send pictures to other devices besides Apple devices. There have been televisions and projectors and other things that are now beginning to support this new AirPlay 2 compatibility for them. Netflix is just taking this new feature and saying, "Hey, since you've changed the possible targets we can put AirPlay to go to, we don't know exactly what kind of display we're going to anymore, because we used to know what it was going to, because it had to be an Apple device. So we're not going to support this feature anymore because reasons."
And that's their prerogative. Depending on. I don't know how complicated the additional changes are, but I mean, they made the argument that now, or as it stands right now, they know what you're connecting to, so they can make sure that before that is allowed, that certain conditions are met. For quality purpose. This is their argument. I'm not saying this is right, but their argument is that right now they can ensure that these conditions are met, which kind of covers their butts, because then it's not allowing a bad stream, which they would be blamed for, right?
Maybe.
That's what they're, and then with the AirPlay 2, they don't have the ability to know what they're connecting to. But whether that's right or not, I don't know. I will say I think this has already gone into effect.
I believe so too.
Because today at work, with some of the Wi-Fi changes, we had to test. We do some testing with. We have some Apple TVs in the conference rooms for screen sharing.
For some reason.
And don't even get me started there. So I couldn't do it because I don't have an Apple device, so I can't AirPlay anything to an Apple TV without downloading like third-party hack software. So I grabbed someone else. I said, "Hey, you've got an Apple phone. Test this real quick." And he was there, and he kept trying to start a stream, and it kept failing. And he said, "Why isn't this working? This always worked before." And then I realized, oh wait, that's Netflix. Oh, I know what's going on.
Open something else.
Yeah. So, but then I also, once we got something else working, he was walking down the hall, and I had to yell at him, "Disconnect! I can see your email," because it's still on the TV.
And yeah, Netflix blocks other things too, like screen sharing. If you try to stream, if you're streaming on your computer and trying to share your screen with somebody else so somebody else can see, they'll block that. You can still hear the sound, but you won't be able to see the video.
Yeah, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, because there is, when you open up the gates to what you can stream to, you open up the possibilities of bad actors,
And I bet you anything, the third parties that want to have their, are putting their stuff on Netflix are saying, do everything you can to make sure nobody is stealing our stuff. So that is probably part of this situation. But come on, guys, Netflix, Apple, get a single XML line in there that says the device name or something, so they can see what it's connecting to, and it's not that hard.
Oh yeah, and that's all Netflix. Technically, that's all they really claim to care about. I mean, I think yes, they're probably using this as an excuse. It's the straw man. It's their out. They've identified, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I could also see the other argument of this by Netflix by saying, hey, so you have this gigantic 4K TV, and since we don't know what you're being sent to, we're going to send you a 720p display, which looks like crap on that display. Oh, and we're using this MPEG compression, but we could have used something better or something that's more compatible.
And then everybody's just going to be mad at Netflix, and they don't want that.
I could see the argument here. At the same time, this is also very, very, hey, we're not going to be on your Apple TV service. Hey, we don't want to have to pay you money for getting our subscription rates. That other side of this coin is also possibly, very likely, something that's going on here too.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
And I don't know, but as I stated before, I don't have an Apple device. I don't have the ability to AirPlay. So I don't really care. Netflix can get rid of it. Doesn't affect me.
Interestingly enough, you can still do screen mirroring. Mm-hmm. It should work. That's what I don't know for certain, but I've been told it does with Netflix, because you can't stop that.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we have a story here about cord cutting. And it's obviously a fad, because it looks like there's a trend that there's a little bit of lost momentum in cord cutting nowadays. According to digital TV research, the paid TV subscribers have fell from 105 million in 2010 to 91 million in 2018. And it seems that they think there will be a continual decline in the number of paid TV subscribers. Looks like that they're going to be losing, despite their overall falls. It looks like the cord cutting is a slowing down trend to them. So,
and that's why we're refocusing our channel on cable subscribers are us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Cord
include
reattachers.
Yeah, cord menders.
Menders. Ooh, nice.
I included this story. I threw it in for the main reason I want to introduce a word that I don't know if they've ever heard, but it's called plateau. There's only so many people in the world that are gonna cut the cord. There are always gonna be people that are on one side or the other, and as you know, with any technology, you get to a point where CD players gained massive momentum in the late 80s, right? And then in the 90s, when finally pretty much every household had 2 CD players, the sales slowed down. It doesn't mean people weren't using it. It was that they, you hit market saturation, you hit, and you should expect a plateau for some point. It's just, I think we got here much quicker than everybody expected. And,
there's kind of 2 aspects to this, right? Like, there's obviously a large group of people that don't want to cord cut, right?
Yeah.
My parents, for example, my dad watches the Golf Channel. They watch Fox News. They watch HGTV and stuff. And, a few other channels. And while there are individual services that they can subscribe to that would get them each one of the things that they want to watch, there's no one service that's significantly less expensive that lets them get all of the elements that they want. Because my dad specifically has to have Golf Channel and my mom specifically has to have the Hallmark movie channel, and those 2 things don't coexist on one service. So they end up either having to get 2 services or pay for like a premium package with Sling, the absolute top package, and they don't save any money. So why would they change? So you've got a group of people that are like that, right? Like your NFL, Sunday Night Ticket subscribers that pay $300 during the football season to get every single NFL game. There may be solutions to get that, but those people don't care about the money. They are accustomed to the way that they do it, and it's easy and it's what they're used to. So why would they bother changing? Their system works for them. So you've got a large group of people that are like that. The system works. They're willing to pay the money. Why change? Then you've got the other thing that you talked about is that a lot of the people that have done it, they've made a pretty big transition. That reaches a large percentage of market saturation. But there's one other thing you didn't talk about, and that's not necessarily completely obvious, and that's the fact that a lot of the subscription services, the traditional cable companies, are transitioning away from the model of cable company and becoming internet TV providers. Almost, most of them have started creating some sort of internet digital-based entertainment solution. So give it another 5 or 10 years, and there won't be cable TV run through the cable lines to your house. Everybody will be getting it through their internet in some fashion.
Which is through the cable line into your house. Just through a different box.
Through a different box. But the point being that it will, the model that we have, that we think of when we think of cable TV, is going away. It's even being eroded by the cable TV providers themselves. They realize, they see the future, and they're making that transition.
And it another point worth making, I think, is the fact that when people make these claims that people aren't cutting the cord as much anymore, what they're looking at is the slowing of the decline on the cable side, and that's where I was talking about. You get the people that are gonna leave have pretty much left, but you got to think about my kids are never going to subscribe to cable. They're coming up the cord nevers. You know,
Right.
they're already streamers, and when they move out of the house and they're paying for their own accounts, they're not going to be subscribing. So the plateau is that the decline on the cable side or the cable subscriptions, but that's only for now, because those people that refuse to let go of it, that want it, eventually are either gonna make the change because they don't have a choice. They get priced out of it. Like my parents, the only reason they cut the cord is because it became way too expensive. And then you've also got people that, I mean, you're going to have a whole generation like my grandparents that they're no longer cable subscribers because they died.
No.
They were cable subscribers
Wow.
up to the moment that they were dead, you know? And that's you've got a whole generation of people that are, you know, you're going to get some decline in it. That decline's going to be a lot slower.
Talk about your loss of subscription by attrition.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
There you go. There's the word I was looking for, attrition. But it's not, I mean, the free fall that we've seen over the last 10 years that was speeding up is slowing down, but that's just because
Plateau.
plateau. So, and that plateau's not permanent. Now,
I have one more thing that could also be making this small change in the rates. As things are moving the way they're moving, also we're seeing almost all the streaming channels raise their rates slightly, which does, just by natural economics, is going to slow things down a little bit as well. So people be more careful with their money when they have to spend.
And I mean, if you look, I mean, it's the market is working. There is competition, so people are moving around, and the numbers aren't going to stay the same at PlayStation View every month or every year. Some years it's going to be more, some years it's going to be less, as you know, people migrate to whatever currently suits them. And I mean, because that's something you can do now. You're not locked into a specific company because of the territory you happen to reside in. And, you know, like me with subscribing to Stars a couple months out of every year. And then, so Stars numbers goes up and down. HBO goes up and down because a lot of people are signing back up for HBO now because Game of Thrones is coming.
Yep.
And then when Game of Thrones is done, a lot of people
numbers are going to go back
again.
down.
The pricing thing is actually really interesting. When I first signed up for like PlayStation View, it was a significant value compared to cable TV. And the longer that we're going, the less and less that value exists.
Monetary value, yes.
I think we're getting really close to the point where services like PlayStation View and YouTube TV and stuff are not significantly cheaper than going directly with the cable company anymore. And that's them saying, well, we're not a value solution, we're a better solution. But I don't know that bears out. And I wonder, you know, give it a couple more years. You're right, Clyde, that there is noticeable competition in the arena. There's new companies popping up every couple of weeks. We've announced so many of these things. So I do think that pricing has gone up as companies are trying to cover their costs and stuff. But at the same time, that competition's increasing, and I do think that the market will correct that, and those prices will come back down to some extent.
We could say that there is a market correction that's going to happen in the future. I don't know how soon. There's going to be a point where the prices are going to raise, and you know, as I was taught as a kid, something's only as valuable as people are willing to pay for it. They'll keep rising until people say nope, and they leave, and then those prices there will be a market correction, and prices will stabilize. We're in that kind of gold rush right now to see who can get the most, and test what people are willing to pay. So,
Yep.
And the companies that aren't willing to adapt, they'll go away if they, so. All right.
So well, that was loud. So last week, Android TV users were beginning to see a new line of information on their Android TV when they were browsing for different channels, and they were seeing what looked like a new sponsored tab, which basically was showing off various media and games that you could get on your TV. And of course, as usual, the internet exploded. How dare Google put ads right in the middle of your Android TV experience? Well, according to this article by 9 to 5 Google, they contacted them and to find out a little bit of information about it. And in particular, they found out that it looks like Google is experimenting with this idea, specifically on only specific platforms for now. I believe the Sony TVs is one of them. And they are looking mostly at seeing how they can promote content that isn't currently on your system, so that you can they can expand the ecosystems to other things as well. So this could be blatant ads. This could be something that you could make a big deal. Apparently, it's not the top of the list. It's got to come down further. You got to go down further before you see it. But
it's right there in the picture on the screen. But,
right. Yeah. There you go.
When I first heard about this, I was kind of incensed. I was a little bit taken aback. But then I was thinking about it. Roku's done this for a long time. Roku has featured an ad on the main screen or the main desktop for a couple of years. But it's a large ad, and it's all the way to one side. And it's usually something like, hey, this movie is streaming on this server or this service. And if you click on it, it'll take you to it if the app's already installed. If it's not installed, it'll take you to the store where you can install the app. And they're not intrusive. They're not animated. And most of the time, I don't even notice it's there because I'm looking at my grid and it's over here, right? I don't like the placement on the Android TV in the fact that you're taking an entire row. Mm. And whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing will really depend on what are they advertising.
Right.
If it's, check out this new show on Netflix or, blah, blah, blah. Okay, awesome. If it's for toilet paper, no.
No, I'd expect that from Amazon.
And I bring that up because Roku will have seasonal themes that are brought to you by Kleenex or brought to you by Dawn.
Yes, they do.
But you can turn those off. You can always switch it back. Again, they're not intrusive. You'll usually say presented by at the bottom, but
yeah, and it's not even that blatant of that. It's like it doesn't look like rolls of toilet paper as your suddenly it's like a winter theme, literally.
Specifically, the Easter one that will be popping up here pretty soon. I think was brought by one of those companies, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not super excited. If they did it like app or like Amazon, where you buy a Kindle, you have two different prices for that Kindle. You can pay more and you get no ads, or you get the cheaper one and then it has ads. If you're buying, like a Mi box that costs $30, who cares? You're probably not going to care about the ads. But if you just spent $300 on the NVIDIA Shield, I'd be pretty angry.
Specifically, it is not on the Shield, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. It is not. And there is a chance that it may end up there at some point.
Yeah.
As they roll it out as officially part of. But if it is, then I see that being a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying with the frustration. I gotta say that one thing that I think that they've done well with this is, and you mentioned these things, is that it is unobtrusive. It is not theme inappropriate, right? Like, it's not things that are irrelevant for for what you're doing. It's similar stuff, and you've got to expect that Google maybe right now isn't doing an amazing job of it, but will do a good job of making those ads be relatively relevant to you. You likely won't get an ad for something that is completely unrelated to the types of things that you normally watch and interact with.
Yeah. Now, and one other thing is worth noting that Android TV already has a suggestions row where it puts up stuff that it's like, oh, hey, you like watching this? You should watch this on YouTube or this on Netflix. As long as it's essentially the same thing but sponsored, then this could be fine. But like I said, it's really going to end up we won't know until they roll it out and it matures a little bit, and then you start seeing what they're advertising, and that will determine whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So.
Looks like there's a free streaming service called FilmRise. You may have seen it. It's available on various platforms like Roku and has various different things like comedies, documentaries, and history subjects available for you. It is now available on the on the Fire TV, not the Apple devices. This looks like that they're expanding their lines from where they originally were living mostly on Roku, and you can now get them on the Amazon devices.
So, I mean, this is, I don't know that FilmRise app was available on the Roku. The point that the story was making is that this is a move for it in the direction of free content on Amazon. Whereas that is something that Roku has been doing for a couple years, having like the Roku channel or other things that are ad supported. When I first read this, the name was super familiar, but I couldn't think of why do I know FilmRise? And then I realized because they made the greatest movie that has ever graced these eyes on my head. The Greasy Strangler.
Oh.
So, in theory, you while you can already watch The Greasy Strangler as a Prime member, maybe now you can watch it on
for free
for free with ads. I want to see what ads they put into The Greasy Strangler.
We don't want our ads on this one. You can it's okay. We'll pay you.
Yes,
okay?
Al-Anon, you need to watch that. It is
that you can.
Yeah.
So.
In-N-Out Burger might want to advertise on that show.
Oh no, In-N-Out would be absolutely yeah. No. But yeah, it's just I'm kind of bummed that it's headed for the Fire TV, but good for people that more free ad supported options on the Amazon ecosystem.
Very cool. So there used to be a streaming service called Filmstruck. Filmstruck was a partnership between AT&T and TCM, Turner Classic Movies, and they were offering a bunch of movies available for you to stream online. And they since were removed and were no longer available, so Filmstruck is now long gone memory. But the people who brought you that are now bringing you the Criterion Collection, a new service providing over more than 1,000 feature films and many shorts and supplementary features for you to watch. And it looks like it's going to be launching 2 days ago, so it should be available now.
Yeah, so we talked about this a few months ago that it was coming. When you're thinking of the troll. Sorry, wrong context. But so we talked we talked about a couple months ago how this new app was in the works. We didn't know when it was going to be released, and congratulations if you were waiting with bated breath for the Criterion Collection to reappear. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Go out, go forth, and watch movies.
Looks like they have a list of all the movies that are on here that are be coming out in the next month or so, and there's a lot of them, and it looks like a lot of various foreign films and Charlie Chaplin movies, The Kid, and a bunch of different. So interesting.
I've always classified Criterion as the movies I'm probably not interested in watching,
Okay. Well, you know.
or I've already seen.
Okay, YouTube is working on making those interactive shows that you've got to see on Netflix. And so they're looking at possibly doing the same kind of show right on YouTube for your enjoyment. What does that mean? That means that you're going to be able to get people to create your own, choose your own adventures right inside your YouTube feed. You know, actually being user created, this actually could be something very cool, and I actually think this is a very good idea. This is kind of being able to decide how the show should go on and how it might end. This is exactly the kind of thing, and I think the community will figure out the right way to do this much faster than the slow world of Hollywood will. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm the target demographic for this, so I don't know if it's going to be good or not. We'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not clear about this one either. I mean, the example I always like to give is the Matrix movie, right? I mean, if you made that one of these kind of interactive things and you pick the wrong one, then the movie's over, right?
Something like that.
No, so like the Matrix movie, you should be able to choose the red pill or the blue pill, is what you're saying, and
Yes.
then you pick the. I mean, actually, kind of would be nice that if you really hated the movie, you could choose the red pill and just the movie ends
and just bail out of the movie.
just out.
I guess
it was a good short.
Spoiler alert: that whole franchise was an absolute waste of time because they just end up rebooting the Matrix at the end. And
Whoops.
So it's like, why did we bother doing all this?
We could talk after the show about the Matrix a lot. In fact, I will tell you my thoughts on that when we get there.
Okay.
So that's I did love the first one.
Well, the first one was cool. It was just
First one was good.
If they had just left it there, it probably would have been okay.
Second one was okay.
No, we'll
I
talk
kinda like
after.
this.
We'll talk after.
We will enjoy the after show, the after squad, and have a little discussion about the
Deal.
Matrix.
Since
Stick around
nobody
for
else
that.
wants to talk about Shazam.
All right, YouTube TV announced today that they're going to make a change to their service. The changes they're making are twofold. One, they're adding channels. Yay! Two,
Yay!
they're upping the price. Boo! No, they have taken many of the channels that are from. Oh, what are what's the name of the company that owns these guys?
Viacom.
The Viacom companies. Thank you. So the Discovery channels, like the Discovery, Investigation Discovery, Animal Planet, Food Network, HGTV, Motor Trend, TLC, Travel Channel.
MTV.
Is MTV on there? No.
It should be.
Nope. That's the funny thing here.
Huh.
It doesn't have MTV. It doesn't have Nickelodeon.
Oh.
It doesn't have the Science Channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only reason why I like the Science Channel is how it's made, and the new Mythbusters Jr. is actually really good. It's missing stuff, which means I will still have to get my. If I continue, we're right now. We just are making decisions about how we're going to move forward with our TV streaming service because we are YouTube TV subscribers. for me, since I was grandfathered into the $35 a month club, I just got pushed up $15 a month for my service, and yeah, I still have to buy Philo because the one kid loves watching Nickelodeon, and I like the Science Channel, and nobody cares about MTV. So
judging by the picture, she was trying to figure out where MTV and Nickelodeon
yeah,
are.
where those big black boxes, they were supposed to be in there, but they're not. Where did they go?
Her face.
Where is MTV?
Yeah, I mean, Viacom finally making good on their retreat and from their former stance of we don't want to be anywhere, and now they're pretty much back everywhere. So, good news if you are a fan of most of Viacom.
So I looked at this channel lineup, and the fact that it's got these holes in it, and the fact that now that the service is $50, this is going to be a serious change possibly to us. We might be making some serious changes to how we can get our streaming TV. So we'll get back to it. This has become a discussion topic at the household. So we might be moving to something else. We will see in the future what happens.
All right. Well, there's got to be a new service out there, though. There's got to be something new coming, right?
See, we've had people telling us for I don't know, years that Apple's going to be coming up with their new service, right? And then like last year, like T-Mobile said, "Yeah, we'll do something for last year, I think." And oh yeah, by the way, T-Mobile's finally announced what they're doing with their streaming service. It's called T-Vision. It has no contracts that you can subscribe or subscribe all you like. It has 275 channels. That's just a huge lineup. And it has a 400-hour DVR built into it with custom hardware, including a main central box that goes into your main room in your house, and these little air boxes that go to other rooms in your house, so you can have multiple boxes. I don't know how you get charged for those. But here's the kicker. It's $100 a month. Unless you are a T-Mobile subscriber, then it'll be $90 a month. Ooh. So save $10. Kind of expensive. But they are also saying your bill will never explode, aka they don't plan on raising the price of that anytime soon.
Yeah, we're the most expensive solution.
Oh, you know why?
Well, it's 275 plus channels, right? I mean, yeah.
And you get MTV.
Yeah.
Well, and see, this gets back to kind of what I was talking about before, right? Like, these are becoming very much comparable to the cable solutions.
Yep.
And the pricing is getting closer and closer. So this is saying we are a match for your cable solution. We're going to charge the same price. The average price for cable TV in the U.S. is somewhere in the neighborhood of $100.
Exactly.
So they're charging $100. They're giving you a similar stupid number of channels that you're not going to watch. They're giving you a large DVR that's also structurally limited in size in the traditional way of 400 hours versus the more modern way of, like, 28 days or something like that PlayStation Vue has. This is almost a perfect reflection of what you get out of a cable TV solution.
Well, and I mean, if you look at the technology, you get a physical DVR, a 400-hour DVR. Mm-hmm. This is the thing that they're saying is going to be over 5G, right? So no physical connection to the house?
That's a good question. It is not clear to me whether or not it is using any kind of streaming service over the some cell service to get it to you, or if it's depending on your internet. I did not catch whether or not that is actually what's going on.
Well, it says right here, set-top box over your home Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so the Well, that's if you scroll down, it's connect and watch in any room. So that DVR box, you plug it in someplace in your house, and then you can watch on any device in the house, which is cool. Um, yeah, and I mean, and they provide other things like iHeartRadio, Pandora, and more. You know,
Yeah, I mean, this is just the beginning of it. I mean, what is it? Like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities, right? Is what they're
Yes.
launching this in, right? So,
Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Los Angeles, New York City, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., metro areas, as well as Longmont, Colorado, with more cities coming soon.
Yeah.
I will say I think the name T-Vision is gold
It is pretty good.
because
good name.
it's TV.
It is. Yeah.
And
Hey,
when you
what are you
look at
watching?
the DVR, it just says TV on the front of it.
Yeah. I think they did a good job of choosing some of their cities and stuff. I mean, they have some of the right cities because, you know, some of these cities you wouldn't want to leave your house for fear of getting shot. And so that's
Longmont, Colorado. We're talking about you.
Yeah, so man, it's still. I mean, some of these are also some of the most expensive cities in the country, so that also helps, right? I mean, you're already paying $600 million for your house in San Francisco, so you might as well pay $100 a month for your cable TV, because, you know, I mean, it's competition's coming.
This
Proof.
is going to be
Yet
one of
another
the.
one.
Yeah, this is going to be.
Price is correct.
I think they're just giving you, you know, here's everything, here's all the channels, here's 400 hours worth of DVR. They're going to have video on demand as well, right? So if you want all that, you know, for $100 a month, and if they do it like I am a T-Mobile subscriber. If they do it like their phones, right? That price they give you includes taxes. So that's taxes included. Right?
But how many people are out there saying, you know what? You know what I want is another service that costs exactly the same and gives me the exact same features as the service I already have.
No, well, you're comparing a cord cutting service to this as a cord cutting service, but they're probably marketing toward people who haven't cut the cord yet.
Right, but that's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying is they're marketing to people that haven't cut the cord, but they're saying we're going to give you the same thing you have and give you what are you getting out of this? You're paying the same amount, you're getting basically the same channels, the same features, the same service. There's no compelling reason to switch.
Well, I mean, the nice thing is, okay, if you look at this like a TiVo, this is a TiVo that you have one TiVo in your house, and everybody is able to use it from anywhere. Everybody has their own profile, so you have your own profile with your own recordings. Whereas before, your cable provided DVR was centrally located. You can only access it from one device, and everybody shares the same queue. So, I mean, there are compelling features. I'm definitely not the target. I knew that Jimmy would be a fanboy because he bleeds pink to begin with. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes. And it does out of the box support the Amazon Echo and the Google Home. So
yeah, I mean, there's a few minor added features. Effectively, a lot of the features that you describe, like that's not that much different than what you get out of the Genie or the Hopper or whatever. So I mean,
except no contract. Whereas to get the Genie or to get the Hopper, you're in a 2-year contract.
Right.
And it may not be great. If you get this and you go a month and the service is terrible, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to be living somewhere for a month and just need TV for that month.
Yeah.
Actually, for snowbirding, this could be really good.
Getting rid of the contract is a compelling argument for the service, though. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. I mean, T-Mobile is like all of the others built around contracts, so we'll see if that doesn't kind of sneak back in there.
All righty.
Well, so I have looked and looked and looked, and I cannot see whether it's using 5G, and that's why it's only in those services. I think it's using your internet. So,
yeah, because they did talk about rolling out a TV service that would be 5G, and exactly. I wasn't sure if this is it or if this will be it. I don't know.
Well, if you're on the page, they get that up there on the menu where it says 5G Vision. That's the 5G service that they're talking about, which seems to be separate, but may one day merge into the same thing.
So that's not confusing at all. To 5G Vision and T Vision, and there's also another. I was looking for T Vision, and a third-party website actually came up for T Vision. So
isn't G Vision one of the encoded channels?
I have no idea.
And it's all gangster rap all the time.
Madam Claire.
Sorry, that
was where she stares into the tea leaves to predict your future.
T Vision.
Nice.
Alrighty. Well, that brings us to the end of our discussions, but it also brings us to the point in the show where we like to say thank you to all of the amazing people that help to make this show happen every week by supporting us on Patreon. So to all of our loyal patrons, I say thank you, and we salute you. And yeah, I guess we should probably actually salute you if we're going to say we salute you. But one of these days we'll figure out a not quite so awkward way. But maybe that's just our thing. No, I'm pretty sure shirtless would be the most awkward way.
It would be awkward. That's true.
But yeah, Al-Anon's got to wait until June for that. So, but yeah, if you're new to the show or you've been watching us for a while and you get some value out of what we do every week. And you want to support us, we would greatly appreciate it. We will always continue to do this, regardless. But, support is always nice.
Allows us to do fun things.
Even a cap it at $1 a month. It doesn't matter. And the supporters, we try to give some added benefit with your custom RSS speeds. For the audio version, which is pretty much only available via Patreon. And then you get elevated roles in the Discord server, and as well as a direct line of contact to us in the patron rooms with if you have suggestions or thoughts or gripes. The patrons' voices shout the loudest. So thank you to all of you that support us, and anyone on the fence, just do it. You want to. All right, you guys know what else you want to do?
I know what I want to do.
What do you want to do?
I want to listen to Big Voice Jay.
Let's check in with the Big Voice Jay.
Welcome to Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of April 8th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. Every morning I keep finding a bunch of celery on my porch. I think I'm being stalked. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Virtual Misery, The Vaughn Squad, and Drunk Kids Gaming are all tied for last place, still waiting for their first film. Team Game Night is in third place with $78.9 million. Team Movie Party is in second place with $154.8 million. And in first place, thanks to Shazam and Pet Sematary, it's Team Have a Drink with $476.3 million. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of April 10, 2019.
Ooh, Shazam and Pet Sematary did not do the numbers people were hoping.
I didn't think Pet Sematary was going to do that good. I didn't realize.
I was
didn't think it was going to be
hoping that it would get the same treatment as it. Someone that I know went to go see it, and she was super excited, and then she just said it was, eh.
No, no.
And that's what I was afraid of, because the original was perfectly fine. There was no reason to remake it. It's not like it, where there were several failed attempts, badly executed, in one way or another. It needed a proper reimagining, but or proper presentation, but yeah, I don't know.
But Shazam didn't do poor; it just didn't do great. $64 million is nothing to sneeze at.
No,
it's not the $100 million it needed to be.
It's because
worth the money people have been putting into it. So.
Spoiler alert: if you didn't already know, Shazam is a Christmas movie, and it's a Christmas movie, and it's doing Christmas movie numbers. It got bumped because of Aquaman. Aquaman delay bumped it, and it's weird watching a Christmas movie in April.
But it's snowing outside.
It is. Don't remind me. I just got an alert on my phone that said we're in a winter emergency for the next 2 days, or winter storm warning for the next 2 days. But
sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll talk about Shazam later. But
no, it's gonna do okay. They're gonna probably at least get half of the money they need out of that, and they've already gotten a ton of money out of Captain Marvel, quite frankly. So they should be okay.
So Have a Drink has Shazam, right?
Yes, they do.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
they have both Captain Marvels.
I certainly don't want to encourage people to go see it because that movie was awful. But I actually really enjoyed it. It was a great movie.
Which movie?
Shazam.
Oh.
Actually, so was Captain Marvel, but Shazam was actually quite good. I enjoyed it. It was quite humorous. It's not quite as funny as I would have liked, but it was a really good movie and worth seeing. I wouldn't go so far as to say great, but definitely really good. Probably the second best DC movie made in recent years, right behind Wonder Woman.
Interesting.
Now, I did not see Aquaman yet, which did quite well.
Yes, it did.
But I don't know if it was any good because I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, being good and makes lots of money don't always match up.
I mean, look at Venom. Venom was terrible, and it made all the money.
Yeah, I think, Shazam may be one of those that has a little bit of legs because it is a DC movie, so I think that kind of hurts it a little bit. People have kind of grown to expect DC movies to not be particularly good.
That's true.
And so, this is kind of like an Ant-Man type equivalent, right? It's a slightly less popular character. It's not, Batman or Wonder Woman or Superman or whatever. Comic book geeks are familiar with Shazam, and he's got a little bit of cred there, but he's not a mainline character, cultural, everybody knows him. So it's kind of one of those where it's going to take a little bit of time for people to realize how good the movie was.
Also, Shazam is a kids movie, and we don't have another kids movie coming up until Ugly Dolls and Detective
What about Dumbo?
Pikachu. Dumbo is come and the Flash has gone through the pan. It's not going to make any more money. Nobody else is going to go see it. Who'd wants? I mean, except for every once in a while somebody says, "Let's go to a movie. What are we going to watch?" You see, oh, a Disney movie.
Yeah.
We'll go to that one. That's all that they're going to make.
I just wanted to address. So Mike pointed out that Shazam is like the Ant-Man of the DC universe. The difference was the Ant-Man movie was awesome. The Shazam movie was okay.
It was good. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think this movie was good. I enjoyed it, and I would encourage people to see it. Ant-Man was awesome, and I would tell people you've got to see it.
Which I was doing at the beginning of the show to Jimmy. You definitely need to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I definitely will watch it. I've been wanting to watch it, just hadn't got around to it.
I actually, the other day, since it's been so cold and I don't have a garage, I had to change I take my car in to get the oil changed. And the manager guy, he was looking, he's like, wow. I said, I've heard of these, but I've never actually seen one, my Veloster. I said, oh. I said, didn't you see Ant-Man and the Wasp? And he went, no. I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, because if you had, you would have seen this car getting bigger and getting smaller and getting bigger and getting smaller. Although it had terrible flames on it. But,
So Matt, did you say that Ritual Misery, they have a movie coming out before us, right?
Ritual Misery is going to be the last ones to get a movie. We get our movies before our movie before them. We'll be getting both
guys,
Ugly Dolls
May
and
3rd.
So what?
The first Ritual Misery movie is May 17th.
A Dog's Journey.
Wow.
Because what I was hoping is, I was hoping that maybe they'd get one before us, then we could slide all the way to the bottom and just climb steadily all the way back up to the top.
We'll see if we can do that. Now, next week will be Hellboy, a remake of a film that didn't need to be remade. So I'm curious if this will do well.
So is Hellboy like actually a remake?
Yes.
Yep.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot.
It's got the same guy in it though.
Nope, it doesn't.
No?
Different guy.
Nope, it's not Ron Perlman.
No.
It looks
Well,
just
it's because
like,
Ron Perlman was the epitome of Hellboy. They got another guy that looks like Hellboy, so it's probably Ron Perlman Jr.
When I saw the trailer for this, I was certain it was the same dude, sounded and looked the same. I was like, this is just a continuation.
It's new. This is the one that was supposed to come out last fall and got bumped. This has it's Mark's. Oh wait, no, that's not a. Wait, is Hellboy's? Oh yeah, David Harbour. So
that's the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Yes, he is Hellboy.
Oh, that guy, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I think he's got the right voice for it. Actually, he seems to. He'll be fine as the character. Yeah, he'll be fine as the character. The problem is, who's going to watch it after the Ron Perlman one? So, I don't know.
Well, how many people actually watched the Ron Perlman one?
Good point. Good question. I don't know how much money it made. Yeah, I watched it. I watched
no,
both.
I saw it, but it was one of those things I was like, I watched it at work because somebody brought it in. They're like, here, watch this. I said, okay.
I think if you like Hellboy, then I can't imagine you not liking the Ron Perlman version.
Oh, I'm not saying that the Ron Perlman version I didn't enjoy it, but I'm saying that there's more people out there that aren't familiar with Hellboy, that aren't hung up on Ron Perlman being Hellboy, than there are on the other side. So this movie has the potential. If it's good, it has the potential to make some money.
Well, Al-Anon is pointing out that it currently has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
that is going to be their biggest
not a
problem.
good sign. But I know Clyde will go watch it with his movie pass. We have to get it into every episode because contractual by law. He's going to watch it and he's going to love it.
I probably will, which means it's going to be terrible.
You horribly, or you're going to hate it, and it's going to be a surprise hit to everybody.
Yeah. So. See, that's why Shazam is middling, because I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. So it's
The
just
rule of
kind of
Clyde applies still.
it's
Ugh.
just right there in the middle. So
All right. Well, that sounds
All
like
right.
fun.
well, then why don't we wrap things up with some rants and some raves? For some reason, this works before.
Oh, the delay.
I will say my rant is something happened with XSplit with one of the last updates where those work perfectly when we're not live. But then once we go live, they stop working. And it's only the outro and the rant and rave. Everything else works perfectly fine. Like
There are different formats it doesn't like.
Like this is working perfectly fine. But and that.
Hey.
Hey,
All right.
speaking of
Rant-
Ant-Man,
Rant ended.
All right. Well, I'll start this week. Continuing watching Mrs. Maisel. It's enjoying season 2 very much. Everyone's been a pleasure to watch. We haven't gotten that far into it, but I gotta tell you, the Mother and Father University is hilarious. Whiskey Cavalier, been keeping up on that. It got after the first couple episodes, it felt like maybe an episode or two. It felt a little like it was kind of, not getting certain. But last couple episodes have been very good again, so they've been picking it back up. Those two, they've got those two actors when they're in the same room and they're doing their thing. It works really well. It's all the other stuff that seems a little boring. So they're going to figure out, and that show is going to continue being really good. The last thing I want to talk about is the fact that I took my computer, not this one. I don't touch this one generally because it needed to work for the show. But my main computer, and I once again attempted to put Linux on it in order to play video games. And I love Linux. I'm a big Linux fan. I've been using it for years. But making it play the games has always been a problem. I gotta tell you, it's gotten so much better. I mean, not everybody likes Anthem, but that is a high-end game, and I was able to play Anthem last night on it, and it mostly worked, which is about as good as Anthem.
That is a
before,
rave review, considering what the history.
I know.
So,
and it is not a Linux friendly game, so that is completely being and I'll use the word emulated. All the DirectX is being emulated into Vulkan, so it can all be shown and run at a pretty decent rate. It's a little catchy, if you know what I mean. It feels like there's points of the game where it feels like it sticks for a second, and that's annoying, but it's not bad, and it's impressive how well it's working, quite frankly. And Linux gaming, I know we were talking earlier how it's the year of Linux every year, right? Mm-hmm. It's the year of Linux, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll go next. So it was, I think it was like on Friday, me and my wife was eating dinner and trying to decide, what movie to watch. And I caught this one on Netflix. It's a new one. I think it's just been released. It's called The Highwaymen. And this stars Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, right? And very good movie. I really enjoyed that, right? I mean, it was, it had that caliber of actors in it. And essentially what this is, without giving too much away, this takes place in Texas. It's during the, you can get this much out of the trailer, right? It's during the Bonnie and Clyde reign.
It's essentially the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde.
Right. So to see these guys, in there, and, Kevin Costner isn't as young as he used to be, right? But still does a good job acting. And so does Woody Harrelson, too. I thought Woody Harrelson did an excellent job in this movie, yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen that one, definitely would recommend checking that one out. Also, too, it's that time of year to where I subscribe to Showtime, and I watch the new seasons of Billions.
Yeah.
So I'm two episodes into it, and have to say, man, every season of Billions, I mean, it never disappoints. It's never a disappointing episode, and just one episode right after another just feeds right into the next, and all. So really enjoying that too. And if you've never watched the show Billions, definitely check it out. You do have to. Well, I suppose you could buy past seasons, but or you could do as I do,
Just binge it.
Just pay it for the month or two while the new season comes out and watch it, and then be done with it until the next year.
Very cool. I'm going to have to check out The Highwaymen. This looks amazing. Oh, man. I'm going to totally...
Funny thing about that, a couple weeks ago, Bonnie Brushwood was doing this meme thing, and she said, hello, or said, my name is Bonnie, and then you answer, like, what is the question that people always ask you, which was, where's Clyde? I responded to that because I'd never made the connection before. And I responded to it, what is your name, Clyde? Where's Bonnie? And then I turned on the TV like 20 minutes later, and Netflix is like, hey, you should watch this thing about these guys hunting Bonnie and Clyde. And I went, okay. I didn't realize that was Kevin Costner at first. And it was fun. It was a pretty good movie. I would recommend it.
Yep.
Cool.
So.
All right. I'll mention, obviously, I already mentioned Shazam. Good show. It's worth seeing. Wait till the movie drafts over, though.
Yeah, just 6 months.
I mean, save up your money. You want to see Avengers anyway.
That's right. Yeah.
Wait till it comes out on DVD.
Avengers is also going to be awful. Don't bother wasting it on that. Save it for the hustle.
But it's an awful that you need to experience in the theater. Kind of like the Meg.
Yeah. I've also been watching Lethal Weapon, the new TV show. Really enjoyed the first season, started into the second season. That was really good. And alas, I've got to mention how much my stupid Windows PC is pissing me off, because I don't know, I may have to rebuild the whole thing or something, because I think you may be crapping out on me. It sits at 100% pretty much all the time. So as a solution, I'm running on my MacBook Pro right now, and it's running smoothly and no problems at all. So Jimmy gets to smile and be like, told you.
Yeah.
Heresy.
It's either Mac or Linux. I mean, that's the choice.
Macs are just fine if you're willing to pay for them. They're just so expensive.
I use Linux.
Yeah.
But I don't want it on my big computer.
Why not?
Right.
I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to click things.
That's Linux nowadays.
Of course, you guys probably noticed me crapping out there for a minute, though. That was the entire internet for my whole house.
Wow. So
what a day.
You've had health issues. Your computer's not working right. Your internet's going down. Is your hair falling out?
Yeah.
Oh man,
we weren't gonna go there. Thanks a lot.
If I were you, Michael,
I would make a joke. Apparently, I hit a sore spot. Sorry.
Grow it long. That way you can comb it over.
Exactly.
I think maybe now would be a good time to go buy a lottery ticket.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever I buy a lottery ticket and I take it up to the little thing that scans it, that tells you whether or not you win or not, it says "You suck, loser," and I throw the ticket away. It's all it says. I feel like I'm, I think that's what I'm doing. I'm buying a ticket so it can tell me you suck, loser.
I received a couple lottery tickets in a birthday card a couple months ago. I won $4. They've just been sitting here on my desk because I got to remember to take it someplace to get the money.
They will expire.
Yeah,
you gotta walk into a gas station or something in order to get your $4.
I know.
Is it really worth interacting with people for $4?
Yeah.
And that is why this Grumpy Cat lottery thing is still sitting on my desk.
Yeah, I guess that's true enough. It costs you about $4 to drive down to cash it in, right?
Pretty much. Alrighty. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out. This is we should probably start to wrap things up because it's getting
please.
late for Jimmy. He's about to turn into a pumpkin. But, if you are catching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. Come join us live sometime. This is when all the magic happens. All these people get to yell at us in the chat, get to submit titles, which we are going to vote on in the after squad, in the post show. Everybody that is here live, go ahead, head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. The link is in the chat. And go vote for everything that you think is worthy.
It's not too late to put in a late submission if you want
And it
to.
is definitely not too late to put in a new submission. So, on that note, I think we should probably wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We will see you in the post show. Everybody else, we'll catch you next week.
Good night.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.